Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, Gary here once again for Bizarre Brain Comics. And today, I want to talk a little bit. It's an animated show, but it's also a comic book. This right here, The Defenders of the Earth. I'm going to talk primarily about issue number 1. The Defenders of the Earth. And consult the Big Book of Knowledge. And The Defenders of the Earth. It was an animated series in syndication in 1986. It was from Marvel Productions and King Features Entertainment. And it ran for a total of 65 episodes. It combined heroes from the King Features newspaper syndicate stable of comic strips. And they were Flash Gordon, the Phantom, and Mandrake the Magician, with Mandrake's companion Lothar. And added to them were their children, their teenage children. And these heroes formed Defenders of the Earth to combat Ming the Merciless, the evil emperor of the planet Mongo. And he was the primary villain of the Flash Gordon comic strip. But he seemed to be the only one big and menacing enough for all these characters together. And he was set on conquering and plundering the Earth, aided by his own conniving son. And unfortunately, the comic book only lasted a total of four issues. And this issue, number 1, was written by Stan Lee with an assist by Bob Harris. And I bet it was primarily Bob Harris who did most of the writing at that time, because Stan wasn't doing that much in the way of writing. And it's penciled by Alex Saviuk, inked by Fred Fredericks. So we'll talk a little bit about. I've talked in more detail about Stan Lee before. Born Stanley Lieber. Alex Saviuk. He was born in 1952. And he started working professionally in 1977 at DC, starting in House of Mystery, then to Green Lantern and The Flash and Superman. He moved to Marvel Comics in 1986, where he became associated with Spider-Man, doing a 7-year run on the web of Spider-Man. And in 1997, he began drawing the Sunday page of the Spider-Man newspaper strip. And then added inking the daily strip drawn by Larry Lieber. And after Lieber's retirement, he took on the daily drawing chores as well, until it was canceled in 2019. Now, and I would certainly like to see more of the comic strip reprinted. I used to read it a lot. So, Defenders of the Earth. Flash Gordon, the Phantom. Mandrake the Magician. And Lothar. So, let us go take a little look at the Defenders of the Earth. Here we are, the Defenders of the Earth. As I said, it was an animated show. And this book was also published in 1986. The first one. And the others were undoubtedly in production, some phase of production at that time. And here, is the cover to Volume 1 of the DVD set. You can see here, Flash Gordon, the Phantom, Mandrake the Magician, and, there he is, Lothar. And then these are their kids. Nice covers by Alex Saviuk. I really like this one. Issue 2. They said there's only 4. I had the Phantom and Mandrake. And as I said, it was an animated show. King features heroes. Of course, in the comic strips, no one has superpowers. But herein, they've changed things up just a little bit. They've given the Phantom some magical powers in which he can draw on the strengths of beasts of the jungle. And Mandrake the Magician is an actual magician using magic and sorcery. Unlike in the comic strip, wherein he was a stage magician using illusion and hypnotism. Here. And I'll just briefly show, we see Flash in a spaceship crashing to Earth just outside the mansion of Mandrake, and everyone rushes out to investigate the crash. They take him in for to check on him. He's knocked unconscious, and he gives them a brief story. They find out here's a little bit of his backstory, and before he can tell them what's going on, something crashes into the mansion in the room, and it's these crazy looking ice robots zapping things around. And using his powers of illusion, he made Flash temporarily invisible, fooling the robots, and then projected an illusion of the rocket ship taking off again, and then the robots go after him. Now here, it's a really nice Mandrake face, and that looks a lot more like Mandrake from the comic strip than the animated show. Several of them, especially Mandrake, he does not look nearly this good, in my opinion, anyway, in the animated series. The hat usually seems kind of wonky, and he just doesn't have as nice and clean a face, I don't think. Okay, and then here Flash tells the story. He and his family, this is his wife, Dale Arden, his wife, and their son Rick, who are prisoners on Mongo. He escaped from Ming. Here we are back on Mongo. Here's with Ming and his demented son. That's a really nice face on Ming, and Ming and his son, who is a lot like his father, would gladly betray him to acquire his power. Here they are, the kid, Dale and Rick in prison, and they connive a way to escape. Rick gets to escape, but Dale doesn't. He finds a little friend here who helps him out. It's Zuffy the Zuffoid, who's the last of his race of Mongo creatures. At this time, of course, some little cutesy sidekick critter was like mandatory in the animated shows, kind of like what's his name from Orko from Masters of the Universe. I hated Orko. Zuffy is not nearly so stupid. He looks too cutesy, but he overall is a better character, I think. Then they go, Flash, Lothar, and Mandrake. They go to the jungles of Bengala to recruit the Phantom. And here's Mandrake giving us a little background on the Phantom, which I won't go into here. And they're challenged by Jeddah. She is the Phantom's daughter, and her pet panther, with whom she has a psychic bond. and she takes them to the Skull Cave. Now, I wanted to, well, I'll get to that a little bit later. They're in Skull Cave, and the Phantom decides to go with him. Takes Jeddah and the cat. She doesn't want to go. She doesn't want to leave the jungle, but leaves them there. This is where they meet, actually, because this these first two issues were adapted from the first two episodes. This is to give you the background of the characters and what's going on. Then the other issues were original stories, not taken from the show. And in the episode, the kids were in school, and Jeddah had to go to school, and that's how they met. And the boys wound up being kidnapped by Ming. They're not doing that here, not yet. So Rick is still running around loose. Gets to sneak peek into laboratory chamber here, where Ming's inner chamber has this real creepy serpent thing, who is intelligent, and Dale is being interrogated. Not really quite sure. This is a really, really nice panel, and it's taken almost, but not exactly directly from the show, and at least the angle and everything. But I think this looks better. Oh, that's a great face on Ming. Ads. But Rick busts in, starts blasting things, blasts the machine that's doing the interrogating. Kablooey. He and Zuffy are attacked by the serpent thing. I've forgotten what it's called, and starts blasting robots. That's another real nice face. Alex Saviuk does real nice faces and figures. We'll see some more here. At the same time, Flash and company are coming to Mongo, just getting here, and going to be confronted by the forces of Ming. And Flash is a great aerial pilot in combat, but there's only so much he can do with one ship. So Mandrake projects all these images of other ships, fooling the robot-controlled ships, and they wind up while they're thinking they're attacking ships, they're attacking Ming's ice fortress and destroying it. But in the course of it, Ming escapes. Here they are as they land and going into the force, and Rick is being menaced by these robots. And here we see for the first time the Phantom invoking, "By jungle law, the ghost who walks calls forth power of 10 tigers." Ooh, and here he can leap, very strong, and make incredible leaps and all this stuff, and later times has amazing senses. And he saves Rick, but find out here that just there, Ming is escaping. Kabloom. We don't know what the deal is here. And then here we get to this. Here we see that Dale has died in all that uproar. Now this one splash page here, I think, does more to convey the sorrow and pathos of what's happened than was done with the animation in the show. Here we really see. Look at the expression on Flash's face and Rick's face, and here we see the body of Dale. And then the sorrow and compassion being conveyed by the other figures here, all in one panel, which I think is even more than what was done on the show. And then we get a good view of the ice technology, the scenery, the background. Of course, most of it's been destroyed. You can see some good line work. Now, and this was this, although it was a Marvel comic, this was from their Star line, which was done more for more younger readers, children, and they used more in the artwork. The inking of the artwork was more line work, less solid blacks, except where needed, like you see here, to convey the darkness of Mandrake's suit, for example. But in the general artwork, less solid blacks. Here we see some. You see the shadowing under Flash's face, and on his lower torso to really contrast because they're wearing the same colors between Flash's form and Dale's form, and it's very nicely done. Saviuk was very good with his anatomy, which is why he has done so much with Spider-Man and doing the action. He's very dynamic in his artwork, and good at the figure in very dynamic poses, which is why he has a long association with Spider-Man. And here he's Flash holding the corpse of his wife, swearing vengeance. Now, whether it's intentional or not, because this is probably a year or maybe two after DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths, this is almost exactly like the front cover of one issue of Crisis on Infinite Earths with Superman holding the corpse of his cousin, Supergirl. So whether that may be an intentional homage or not, I don't know, but I think it's done very well. The only complaint I have here is the cutting off of the top of Dale's head by the panel border. I would like to have seen it fit better into the panel, or had her head break that border. I don't know. Can't say why. And then, just then, as he's leaving, as he is escaping, Ming sends a message, a projected message. It says, "Today you have only felt a rudimentary sample of my might. Today, Flash Gordon, I have but robbed you of your wife. Tomorrow, Ming shall rob you of your world. Ha 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 ha." And here, then he's gone. And Zuffy the Zuffoid finds this crystal from the machine and takes it with him, because it's shiny stuff. And here we see Ming setting up a base on Earth, because he plans on conquering Earth, and it's somewhere in the Arctic Circle, in the ice, because that more easily supports his ice-based technology. I don't know where they got that, but just for this. And here he is talking with his demented son. Meanwhile, Flash and company are returning to Earth, and they discover that the crystal that Zuffy has because it was an integral part of that interrogation machine, has absorbed the mind essence from Flash's wife, Dale. It says, and he can, Mandrake can sense it and does a little magic on it, and it processes it. Thank heaven I broke through. Oh, Mom! So she is, even though her body is dead, she is still alive. And here they are saying that Rick, who is a computer genius, is going to build a supercomputer and incorporate this gemstone into the core and memory of the computer, so that Dale will live on and be a part of their group, which they are now swearing to defend the Earth, so they are called the Defenders of the Earth, a new beginning. The great beginning, I mean. And that's that. The Star line had other, so you can see, I wish I had more here. Gives a little ad here, but the Star line had other stuff. They were largely a copy of, some of their stuff was kind of a copy of both artistically and types of stories of Harvey Comics for young readers. Of course, this also had He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Hug a Bunch. Let's see, Muppet Babies, Peter Porker, the Amazing Spider Ham, and there he is. They had Planet Terry, droids and Ewoks. Chuck Norris. They don't list them here, but they also had Royal Roy, Planet Terry, which was a science fiction one, Wally the Wizard. Now, I like those. Of course, I was far from being a kid at that time. And as I said, the other two, I mean, these two had the first two episodes. This is when they build them a base under fire, build them a base on Earth under fire from Ming's forces. And then this one highlights the story about the Phantom and his daughter, and this one highlights the story about Mandrake. I don't know what would have been in the 5th issue, because it was probably completed or nearly completed, since they do have, since at the end of this issue they do this next war. And one thing I really liked. Okay, the kids were less were like almost full members, not quite sidekicks. They're almost full partners, but of course the adults were the primary partners. I really liked the way they did Lothar, because Lothar was he was Mandrake's companion and right-hand man. He was basically the muscle for his adventures. While not stupid by any means, he was not as educated. And here he is virtually a genius. He's an engineering genius. He maintains the base and the ships and things like that. It was a good, fun run. I really enjoyed him. I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the comics. I wish there had been more. And so in here with Alex Saviuk's figures, I really like. It must be that Flash Gordon figure that especially that I like. He was great with the figures. His backgrounds were spot on. The writing in this, I really enjoyed the writing in these stories. They even in the show, they even had one time travel episode in which they teamed up with Prince Valiant, another King Features character. We'll have some, and I hope to have do programs on all Flash Gordon, the Phantom, and Prince Valiant at some time in the future. So I hope you enjoyed these. I did. Please like, share, and subscribe. Share it with your other science fiction friends, comic book friends, what have you. I really appreciate it. And thank you for joining me. Remember, comics are art.